A really cruel scam known as pig butchering has struck yet another Bay Area resident. This time, an elderly widow in San Jose thought she found new love online.
Instead, she was targeted by crypto scammers who took nearly $1 million of her money.
Why? I'm so stupid. I let him scam me. I was really depressed.
Margaret Look is in her 70s, and like many victims of romance scams, she is widowed and living alone. Until very recently, life seemed stable for Margaret. She was retired and living in San Jose, California, where the cost of living is extremely high. By her own admission, Margaret considered herself a simple person. She was happy in her two-bedroom condo, complete with a balcony and a small garden. She wasn't completely isolated either. She had friends, and she also had Facebook. It was on Facebook that she met a charming man named Ed, who, unsurprisingly, turned out to be a scammer with very dark intentions. What is surprising is how Margaret eventually discovered the truth. In an interview with a local news station, Margaret explained that a Facebook friend had introduced her to Ed.
Browsing, and then she said, oh, this is a nice guy. You just say hi to him. And then you say, oh, how are you? Where are you from? I say, we are from San Jose. And then he said, oh, I like to, meet people from San Jose, and I'm from Texas.
It's unclear who this friend really was, the person who guided Margaret into meeting this mysterious man. Perhaps it was a real friend, unknowingly becoming an accomplice in a life-changing disaster. Or maybe this so-called friend wasn't a friend at all. Only Margaret knows, and she chose to keep that important detail to herself. Ed claimed he was a businessman, and he also said he was Chinese, something he and Margaret had in common. Like most scammers, he quickly moved the conversation from Facebook to WhatsApp. That's when the love bombing began.
It's really nice to me, greet me every morning. He say he likes me, we are Chinese. Every day he's kind of say sweet talk to me. So I say, oh, maybe, I'm lonely too, right?
Day after day, Ed and Margaret exchanged morning greetings and wished each other sweet dreams at night. In between, they shared the smallest details of their daily lives. Photos of meals, activities, and everyday moments. Ed always avoided meeting in person, but he promised Margaret that one day he would take her to Paris. He told her, honey, you know the feelings between us are real and I miss you every day. I hope our love can last forever. Margaret replied, when I think of someone special, it is you that comes to my mind. And all the kind things you do, it touches my heart so deep. Once Ed felt he had full control over Margaret's heart, he shifted his focus to her wallet.
And then he started asking me, what investment do you have? And I say, I'm very simple, I don't have any investment. He said, did you hear anything about crypto thing? Why don't I give you $15,000 to invest? So I said, no, I have $15,000.
That's when the carefully planned illusion began, convincing Margaret that she was about to make millions. She followed Ed's instructions closely, including his demand that she keep everything secret from the people closest to her. Scammers always insist on secrecy to maintain control. Ed justified this by saying he wanted to avoid future conflicts with her son once they met in person, hinting that their relationship would soon become even more serious. Trusting him completely, Margaret quietly wired money into what she believed was an online investment account. She downloaded the crypto app Ed told her to use and, with his guidance, invested her first $15,000.
I went into the platform to trade $15,000. I make about $24,000.
The next investment was far larger. This time, Ed told Margaret she needed to put in $120,000. To do that, she had to tap into her IRA, her retirement savings. Once again, the profits appeared to skyrocket. Ed promised her that her investment account would eventually reach $5 million. But to get there, Margaret would need to go all in.
Now you have to put $490. Then I say, why so much? I'm a simple person. I don't know how to trade. So I follow him whatever he tells me.
Every investment Margaret made under Ed's direction appeared to be a massive success. Encouraged by what she saw, she emptied the rest of her retirement account and wired her final $62,000. As the saying goes, in for a penny, in for a pound. By now, Margaret's supposed investments totaled $687,000. But for Ed, that still wasn't enough. Not even close.
He wants me to put another $1 million. So I don't have the money. And he was on the phone with me, constantly pushing me and say, you have to borrow $600.
Margaret then took out a second mortgage on her condo, securing another $300,000. That money went straight into the so-called investment account. According to the crypto app, her balance had grown to nearly $2.5 million. In reality, the app was pure fiction, engineered specifically to trick victims into believing they were getting rich. Margaret had no idea. That is, until she decided it was time to cash out. At that moment, Ed dropped the loving persona entirely.
When I go into the platform to get my money, he freezes it. I don't have the money. And then he said, you have to do it. You have to borrow from your friend, whoever you have.
Things became even worse when Ed left Margaret a threatening voicemail, warning her of legal consequences and abandoning all pretense of affection.
I don't want we be the enemies. Want my lawyers contact with you.
Margaret was devastated and completely lost. She didn't know where to turn. She had no one she felt she could confide in, no one to offer guidance or advice. So she turned to ChatGPT and shared her story. It may be tempting to groan and complain about AI, or even this channel. And yes, like and subscribe, leave a comment, all that stuff. But the truth is, ChatGPT told Margaret exactly what she needed to hear. Unfortunately, much too late.
GPT told me, no, this is a scam. You better go to the police station. At that time, I panicked and I called him. I said, Ed, you are scamming me.
What Ed did to Margaret is known as a cruel scam called pig butchering. It targets loneliness, replacing it with what feels like genuine love. That love is then used to lure victims into fake investments and fabricated profits. Every dollar Margaret wired went straight into Ed's pocket, or more likely into a well-organized scam network. And because Margaret liquidated her entire retirement account, she now faces a massive tax bill on top of her devastating financial losses. Please look out for your loved ones, especially elderly family members. Talk to them. Make sure they're informed. My name is Jimmy. Stay safe out there and thank you for watching.
I'm trying to help myself to save this house. I don't know where am I going to stay, right? All my money is gone to the scammer.